Welcome back and good morning. It's time for the AM News with me, Noella Karanyali, and we begin with our top story. Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafoboni has issued a rallying cry to magistrates and judges, urging them to prioritize the prosecution of individuals involved in illegal mining, regardless of their social status or political affiliations. Now, this call to action comes as the country grapples with the devastating environmental impact of Galamsey, including polluted waterways, destroyed forests, and contaminated soil. Fatal Bayaga reports.
Speaking at the 2025 annual general meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges of Ghana in Accra, Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafoboni said illegal mining is having a significant toll on individuals and communities across several parts of the country. Hence, they should attach urgency in the prosecution of illegal miners.
We must ensure that prosecutions related to illegal mining and drug trafficking and abuse are handled with seriousness, impartiality, and urgency. And I mean urgency.
He pointed out that drug abuse is a major issue in Ghana that undermines young people's aspirations, urging magistrates and judges to properly prosecute drug traffickers when such cases are brought before them.
A research I recently stumbled upon made grim reading and got me particularly alarmed. The results of the research concluded that there is a relatively high substance use among adolescents with a prevalence of 12.3%. It further revealed that 56.9% of the adolescents in Ghana abuse alcohol, while 26.4% abuse cigarettes.
In his address to the gathering, Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dominic Ayine expressed concern that many courts, particularly in underprivileged areas, lack the modern equipment necessary to expedite the delivery of justice.
As Attorney General and Minister of Justice, I am committed to collaborating with the Judicial Service and His Lordship the Chief Justice and Parliament to modernize our procedural laws and align them with technological realities.
The Attorney General emphasized the need for courts to utilize technology to improve the efficiency of justice delivery.
Prolonged adjournments, missing dockets, and mounting case backlogs continue to erode public confidence in the justice system. Technology offers us the tools to meet these challenges. E-filing systems can be used to eliminate the phenomenon of lost dockets. Virtual hearings can be deployed to widen access to justice, especially for litigants outside major cities.
For Joy News, Fatal Bayaga, Accra.
Away from that, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Energy is worried of the impact of illegal mining on the energy sector, as heavy installations are threatened by the activities of illegal miners. The committee observed increase in destruction of power installations as illegal miners extend their harm to the energy sector. Deputy Ranking Member Collins Adomako-Mensah revealed installations of the Ghana Grid Company and the Bui Power Authority have all come under attack in recent times. The committee made the observation during a familiarization tour to the Wamaso Thermal Power Station in Kumasi, and there's more in this report filed by my colleague Ohiming Tewia.
The Parliamentary Select Committee on Energy observed power pylons belonging to power companies and water in the Bui Dam are being adversely impacted in the latest onslaught by illegal miners. Here is a deputy ranking member, Collins Adomako-Mensah, speaking on the danger posed to power companies by illegal miners.
When we were engaging the other participant, two things came up. One has to do with Galamsey, and it is having a heavy toll on the energy sector also. It's not just about water, but Gridco complained about Galamsey, their pylons. People are digging where they have a lot of their pylons. Yesterday we were at Bui, and the Bui water situation is deteriorating because of the Galamsey situation surrounding their water bodies.
Mr. Adomako-Mensah also touched on encroachment of the WAPCO gas pipeline, which he described as a national security concern, since it puts the operations of the Volta River Authority in danger.
There is gas plants at Tema where they've seen encroachers building on the major pipelines, the WAPCO pipeline coming from all the way from Nigeria into Ghana. That is a major national security concern, and we want to appeal to the media to help us propagate this particular issue, that Ghanaians should understand that there are certain areas that they must not necessarily encroach. Any effect on that particular pipeline will have a very devastating effect on all of us.
Members of the committee were at the Angomaso Tema Power Station in Kumasi to acquaint themselves with issues confronting key public players in the power sector. The committee has since visited Bui Power, Netco and Gridco, among others. Meanwhile, the committee is pleased at the country's current energy situation. Members attributed the current stability in generation, transmission and distribution to the credible performance of companies such as the Volta River Authority and the Ghana Grid Company. Here is a member of the committee, an MP for Yilo Krobo, Albert Nyakote Tete.
VRA is doing very well. When it comes to power, I'll say that the power is stable. In most of the plants that we have visited, they are not even operating at full capacity. We may have a few problems with maybe with the distribution. Yeah. So I'm saying today that if the power is off, I'll not blame VRA, I'll blame the devil. And I'll explain that. So I'm saying that what we have to do is to support the energy sector, and VRA is our own.
The committee, however, wants more governmental support and investments in the energy sector to consolidate the gains, as it singles out VRA for praise.
Moving on, Parliament's Public Accounts Committee says it has recovered 12.9 billion Ghana cedis in misused public funds, but warns this is only a fraction of the rot. Chairperson Abena Asare blames reckless spending, weak oversight and cover-ups across state institutions, cautioning that without tougher accountability, Ghana's finances will keep bleeding. Kenneth Ghc was at the committee sitting and now reports.
Public Accounts Committee fears Ghana's public purse is still bleeding, trapped in a vicious cycle of impunity where corporates escape accountability. Chairperson of the committee, Abena Asare, stressed that only a united front of Parliament, the media and civil society can drag the looters into the light and stop the carnage.
We have a report which we would look at per the work of the Public Accounts Committee and the support of the Auditor General. We have been able to retrieve about 12.9 billion Ghana cedis. And there's a whole report on that we'll be sharing with the public at the right time. So yes, we are making impact, but we can do better than what we are doing now. And that is why we want to ask for support from the media as well, because we are all partners in this. As we all bring it to the fore and see how best we can support each other to make sure the right things are done, I believe it will go a long way to reduce the infractions that we see when it comes to the management of our public finances.
The committee also ruled that a deputy HR officer at the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology must refund and end salaries totaling 31,000 Ghana cedis. The amount was validated and paid to an employee who had been absent from duty since March 2024.
Like the chairman said, chairperson, it was March of 2024. He didn't show up. It was validated. The supervisor wrote a query 5th April 2024. And then you paid him for April. Then you paid him for May and June and July. Madam, we'll make it simple. Whoever validated this person needs to pay this amount, 31,847. So ruled. Auditors, make sure that that person pays.
The committee says the recovery of 12.9 billion cedis is progress but not victory. Without biting sanctions and ruthless accountability, Ghana's finances they won remain under siege and the looters will return to plunder again.
Director of the Health and Humanitarian Affairs at the African Union Commission has intimated good nutrition is a right of every child. He's rallying the support of all partners, both in the private and public sector, on the continent to ensure that no child will be condemned to hunger when we already have the solution to protect them. Now, Professor Julio Rakuti-Nari-Nina spoke at the launch of UNICEF's First Food Africa initiative in Cotonou, Benin. MFA Atiamwa Eli has more.
The First Foods Africa intervention is seen as a game-changing step towards ensuring that every child has access to safe, nutritious, and affordable food. The Director of Health and Humanitarian Affairs at the African Union Commission, Professor Julio Rakuti-Nari-Nina, says nutrition is a fundamental right.
La bonne nutrition est un droit. La faim est évitable. La malnutrition constitue un défi que nous pouvons et devons relever.
Initiatives like this aimed at addressing the same challenge in the past have not yielded the expected results. A major concern for families has to do with the cost component. I raised this concern with the UNICEF Regional Director for West and Central Africa, Mr. Ghc12.9bn.
How are we assuring the affordability of these locally produced, nutritious supplements for children?
Your question is extremely important. In the past, we have seen some initiative not so successful just because the cost was something that is a barrier for normal household even to have access to what their children need. So what we are trying to do now is to make sure that the elements that help us to have the food we need for our children comes from the community.
Okay.
So we review what we have at community level. We know what children need based on their age, and we try to match the need with the local production.
The program will focus on 3 key areas: incentivizing local production, strengthening policies that guarantee access for all children, and driving large-scale social and behavior change campaigns. The AU Commission believes it is an invaluable investment to the continent.
Car en investissant dans les premiers aliments des enfants, nous investissons dans la première et plus grande richesse de l'Afrique, son peuple.
The Commission affirmed it is working with UNICEF and other regional partners to amplify this initiative. My name is Amafa Ewenam Atiamwa Eli for Joy News, Cotonou.
Now, the CEO of the Los Abuelos Foundation, Eunice Abena Asare, has renewed calls for urgent interventions to safeguard the rights and dignity of Ghana's elderly. Speaking at Yamaransa during a humanitarian impact project to mark the UN International Day of Older Persons, she urged government and policymakers to pass the long overdue National Aging Bill, stressing that its implementation would provide the legal and policy framework to protect the well-being of Ghana's growing elderly population. The program, which focused on caring for aged persons, saw about 1,000 older people benefit from various forms of support.
Aged persons were expected for the Los Abuelos Foundation's Yamaransa Humanitarian Impact Project, but they exceeded expectation and underscores the urgent need for elderly-focused interventions. Partnering with the University of Cape Coast, the foundation marked the day with free medical screening, health insurance registration, and the distribution of clothes and groceries for the elderly in Yamaransa. Speaking at the event, the CEO of the Los Abuelos Foundation, Eunice Abena Asare said the initiative embodies the foundation's mission of protecting the rights and welfare of older persons.
As per the name of the foundation, we care for the older people. So we promote conversations and actions that concerns the welfare of older people. And we do this in many ways. We do this through research, and that is through a collaborative method. As we speak, we have this collaboration with the University of Cape Coast, that's the Department for Population and Health. We do this also through the humanitarian intervention aspect of things. So the 1st of October every year is the United Nations International Day for Older Persons. So today we are here in Nyamransa to render humanitarian service to the older folks in Nyamransa. So what you are seeing behind us is free clothing being given out to older persons. We have a free groceries also giving out as well. We do also have a free registration of national health insurance for those who need renewal and those who don't have the card at all.
She also appealed to policymakers and non-governmental societies to prioritize the needs of the aged.
We want to appeal to government, we want to appeal to other civil society organizations to prioritize the well-being of older people. In terms of policy, at the moment we have the National Aging Bill, which has been in Parliament for so long, it's not been passed. We pray that with this current government, the President will expedite action on passing the bill in order to promote the well-being of older people.
The head of the Department of Population and Health at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Kobna Esiadonko, noted that the partnership not only extends critical support to the aged, but also highlights the role of academia in driving social change.
What is important is that this is giving a signal, bringing the academia to the community. And I think UCC have been doing so great. I know one of the departments is also at Iguafu, which is the social laboratory. When we do this, the community understands education. The community begins to realize the need to even help the kids go to school. And I think that is the significance of this, as far as the eye of the community is concerned.
The theme for the day was older persons, driving local and global action, our aspirations, our well-being, our rights. From Nyamransa, Abigail Lissel and Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Well, that's it for the news, but my colleague Kojo Brace is on standby with the business update right after this. I'm Noella Karanyali.
Let's do business updates now. President John Mahama has disclosed that his government is in negotiations with the United States over the 15% tariffs imposed under the Trump administration, as well as discussions on the renewal of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. Speaking at the Jubilee House on Wednesday, October 1, during the commissioning of newly appointed ambassadors and high commissioners, President Mahama stated that the outcome of the talks would be critical for Ghana's trade prospects.
Wish to inform you that negotiations are ongoing with regards to the trade tariffs of 15% and the renewal of AGOA, which was a 0% tariff on African nations. And so those negotiations are still ongoing. I urge you as envoys to check this clarity whenever questions arise. Diplomacy involves more than just negotiation. It also encompasses managing perceptions and safeguarding your nation's reputation. Distinguished ambassadors and high commissioners, your foremost responsibility is to tell Ghana's story with conviction and credibility. You must present Ghana as one, a stable democracy with a proven record of peaceful transitions; two, a land of opportunity open for trade and investment; three, a hub for technology, innovation, and a creative economy; and four, a vibrant cultural nation and a good tourist destination.
Well, the Chief Executive of the Association of Ghanaian Industries, Seth Chum Akwabwa, has urged government to prioritize support for local manufacturers and introduce policies that encourage individuals to purchase more locally produced goods as inflation continues to decline. According to him, strengthening the capacity of local manufacturers will help boost business growth and drive the economy forward. His remarks follow the sharp drop in September inflation to 9.4%, the lowest rate since August 2021.
So if you're asking of the impact, the ultimate impact is that we'll see businesses expanded and then the economy booming. But we need to look at the variables very well. As I mentioned, when you have inflation coming down, and then the imported inflation is becoming lower than locally produced goods, it has an implication. The implication is that there's the tendency for people to import more. So the gains you are supposed to have, you probably will not have it fully because people will buy more of the imported goods. And that doesn't actually create the jobs that we need because they undermine local production through the loss of market share. So generally speaking, it is positive, but let's look at the specific items and see where the drops is coming from and see how we can tweak things, we can work on the local manufacturing bit, policies that will help local manufacturers so that as the prices are dropping, people will buy more of the locally produced goods. That's where you have a maximum positive effect of these developments.
That's all in the business update, and that wraps up the AM news. Up next is AM Sports.